Tonight on CBS News.
In a shocking development, the federal government says being broke is allowed, but if you're broke and glowing, you are officially now a suspect.
You can't be glowing more than your financial status. Look your problem.
Producers have confirmed next season of Love Island will merge with the Hunger Games. Only one couple will survive the new format. Everyone else dies.
Senator Buck Nutley has unveiled his Big Girthy bill, a new proposal meant to rival the Big Beautiful bill. But does size really matter?
The shocking trend of Labubu violation continues as more and more people are finding their dolls' holes stretched wide open and reeking of shame.
If you thought Bigfoot was bad, wait till you meet his gooey cousin. A kumsquatch was just spotted in Dongwood National Forest.
Did you know IKEA has released a home glory hole kit called the 𝐓𝐾𝐒? It includes pre-drilled panels, mounting brackets, and a stain-proof finish. We begin with breaking news out of Massachusetts, where residents are reeling from what scientists are calling a comet impact.
Officials are asking everyone to stay indoors and to wear N95 masks in case of aerolization.
President Trump kicking off another busy week at the White House.
It has been yet another eventful week in Washington.
The activity level is off the charts. The president dialed in. He is executing his agenda at a lightning fast pace. Here's something we rarely see in American politics. President Trump is actually keeping his campaign promises, and he's doing them as quickly as possible.
This administration is moving at political light speed, and they're just getting started.
We're going to have one shot at this, and no other president's going to do what I'm doing. Goodbye. We love you. We will be back in some form. Have a good life. We will see you soon. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's official. Former President Donald Trump will be running for president again in 2024.
Donald Trump got the stamina and the will to do this again? He's come under such tremendous...
Everything is on the line in this election.
A busy day in the campaign world. Up in Butler today, former President Trump holding a rally at 5 o'clock.
He just tried to kill President Trump.
Not even an assassin.
If we're not careful, AI could make it impossible to distinguish truth from fiction in the news we consume.
So, Keisha, what's a high-value man to you?
A man that gave me 10 kids, 3 evictions, $10 on Cash App, and still pull up in a Nissan Altima that sound like he got...
Good evening, I'm Tom Tucker with some breaking news. A local kidnapping has rocked Quahog tonight. Rocked Quahog? Really? The whole town is... The family, maybe, is rocked, but the whole... All right, well, in any event, we now go live to Asian reporter Tricia Takanawa. Let's see how much she's rocked by all this. Tricia?
Tom, I'm standing here with Mayor Adam West with the latest information about the disappearance of young Scotty Jennings. What can you tell us, Mr. Mayor?
Please, Mr. Mayor is my father. Call me John Mayor. Your body is a wonderland, by the way.
What is the city doing to help rescue the missing boy?
Well, we're looking for this child using all the latest technology, including the newest, most advanced multimedia milk cartons.
Help me, I'm missing! Help! Why are you still eating breakfast? I'm kidnapped! Why are you turning me the other way? I'm still here!
Day one of trying to make it to work,
without yelling at a pedestrian. Pray for me, y'all.
Still alive, still unemployed. But baby, I look G-O-D doing it. Oh my God, I'm not even late, I'm just dramatic. Y'all know I will risk it all for a good melon.
We have breaking news. A laser-guided ship missile has just been launched from Rectomopolis, reportedly targeting 𝐇𝐎𝐒.
We're live from the scene where a laser-guided ship missile launched from Rectomopolis has struck 𝐇𝐎𝐒. This just in, a pubnadal blankets St. Louis in a thick bush this evening.
Downtown is completely covered in pubic hair, causing highways to close out of caution.
It's coming right for us. We need to get out of here now. Oh my God, it's taking the houses. A massive gizzard has buried 𝐶𝐒 in 2 feet of dong load. Locals blame the lack of preparation on Mayor Linda P. Slurp.
The city of Columbus is reeling today after an unprecedented event. What officials are calling a gizzard has left downtown streets. Customs officials at Orbital Port 69 have seized over 420 stolen jork blades, many still warm and dripping. A magnitude 6.9 𝐕𝐈𝐃 rattled Clamlip Valley this morning, releasing a torrent of pussy farts. The children's reading session of This Little Piggy Got Pegged has been cancelled, with parents saying the book is too anatomically detailed for kids.
Lawmakers remain deadlocked on the big beautiful bill, with some saying $10 billion more is needed for fleshlights and robo-cooters for dudes on dry spells.
Los Angeles, because she served her fried chicken instead of a quinoa salad. Megan Mayonnaise went to the restaurant called The Last Supper, where she claimed she was flabbergasted that they would serve her fried chicken when she in fact ordered a quinoa salad. Ms. Mayonnaise said waitress 𝐷𝐿 Trinity knowingly gave her fried chicken, although Ms. Mayonnaise pleaded that she didn't want to eat any urban food. We have Ms. Mayonnaise along with her attorney, Roger Bangher. Can you explain how you were feeling, Ms. Mayonnaise?
I told 𝐷𝐿 Trinity 300 times, let me speak with your manager. And she just kept twerking, sticking her tongue out and laughing at me.
We have exclusive CCTV footage from the restaurant of Miss Mayonnaise and 𝐷𝐿's fried chicken confrontation. Miss Mayonnaise is suing 𝐷𝐿 Trinity for everything she got, which is 3 deadbeat fathers and $100 in unpaid child support.
We need your $80,000 down payment now.
Can I do 6 child support checks, 1 EBT card, 10 Section 8 credits, and 2 Medicaid payments?
We take it all.
Welcome back to White News Network. I'm your host, 𝐬𝐒𝐄. Today, the BFI released documents that claim no special files exist from that one famous island. Wink, wink. BFI director said, quote unquote, although you've seen plenty of known people at that island, no American people, you were just seeing shit. The BFI office also released perfectly edited 24-hour surveillance footage of that jail cell where the main guy in charge was being held. At this point, these guys are playing in our face. Most of you are too blind to see it.
Welcome back, folks, to the White News Network. I'm your host, Tom Blandley, and tonight a white woman is leaving her husband after trying a YN. HOA President Skylar White told WNN she is filing for divorce because, quote unquote, after trying a YN, you never go back. Her husband, Kevin White, owner of Proud Boys Country Club, says he is devastated by the news and that it is, quote unquote, total malarkey. The divorce hearing is set for July 13th at Cornbread District Family Court. If Mrs. White wins, she will be entitled to half of his shit that she never worked for. Next up, rock star Roger Bangher has already impregnated 3 women on his Fuckfest tour. But first, a word from our sponsor.
WHR, would y'all let me fly the plane to Iran? I thought B2 was my apartment number. Oh my God, did I just start the war?
Introducing ChatEBT, the newest AI software limited only to 13% of people. ChatEBT isn't just another basic AI myth. It's built for real-life situations. Let's showcase an example of a man asking for food recommendations.
I'm starving, gang. Let's open ChatEBT. What should I eat tonight?
ChatEBT is fully aligned with real-time data, giving you the most accurate, up-to-date definitions anywhere.
Define child support.
Unless you ask it to define child support. But ChatEBT isn't just about words or recommendations now. It helps with your everyday tasks and repairs, giving you the best solutions in real time. Here's an example.
Dude, this thing is so annoying, man. ChatEBT, how do I fix this?
You don't, Nick.
Thank you all for your time today. We're excited for you to experience the future with ChatEBT. We'll see you soon.
Yo, 1 2 1 2. All right, let's do some news. Salute chat. I see a couple of y'all in here early. Little Brooklyn, what's up? Quiet Storm, 𝐷𝐿𝐒, and the Ghost Watchers. Let's get busy. All right, news desk, man. Let's do some news. Crazy week, man. I think we covered Jimmy Kimmel the other day. But let's start out with some lefties losing it, man.
They're not only losing their minds, their tenuous grip on reality and their moral compass, and it's time for Lefties Losing It. And they're not only losing their minds, their tenuous grip on reality and their moral compass, lefties are also losing their jobs. Painfully unfunny, low-rating, tedious, afflicted comic Jimmy Kimmel is off air indefinitely, perhaps forever, after his shocking remarks regarding conservatives, regarding 𝐄𝐍𝐼𝐒 and the alleged assassin.
All right, yeah, our girl Rita's back. They had the other blonde up in there. Oh, what's up? I see y'all piling in. Yo, what up? Saracen PB. Wrench Turner. Say it ain't so, Playboy. Say it ain't so. I just signed you a text. Didn't realize you were live on Google Voice. All right, I'm gonna check it. I'm on WhatsApp too, man. Wrench Turner in the building, man. Listen, hold on. I gotta give you a drop just for showing up. All right, guys. Here's a new drop. Everybody liked MacGyver in Ha man, if you know, you know. I used to love MacGyver, bro. Straight up throwback. Let's go. Yeah, I got a couple MacGyver drops. Oh, y'all up in here throwing super chats? All right, well, shit. Let's start this bitch off right. Quiet Storm with the $5 super chat. He said we in here. Keisha gets drafted during the middle of the show. All right, we gonna do that. I'm gonna reload that one up. In the meantime,
I want you to give me a snake cup.
I'll give you a snake cup,
Please?
young lady. Yeah.
Oh, dirty man. Dirty Craig. Dirty Craig.
I am not dirty. I said I'd give you a snake cup, and you will receive one, and you will enjoy it.
Bet I
will. All right, hold on. Red Sigma in the building. What up, Playboy? Yo, salute. Listening at work, huh? Let's go. Let's do it. What we got? Bang.
Good evening, I'm Tom Tucker with some breaking news. A local kidnapping has rocked Quahog tonight. Rocked Quahog? Really? The whole town is right. The family, maybe, is rocked, but the whole... All right, well, in any event, we now go live to Asian reporter Tricia Takanawa. Let's see how much she's rocked by all this. Tricia?
Tom, I'm stuck.
Shit. Got your ass.
And Wrench Turner with the $20. He said money on the wood, making the gambling good. Hell yeah, let's do it. I don't think you've seen this one. You ain't been around.
Am I the meanest?
Sure enough.
Am I the prettiest?
Sure enough.
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this town?
Sure enough.
Well, who am I?
Sure enough.
Who am I?
Sure enough.
I can't hear you.
Sure enough.
We got more pricing games coming up in the second half of the show. Don't go away, folks. We got more pricing games coming up in the second half of the show. Don't go away, folks.
So, Keisha, what's a high value man to you?
A man that gave me 10 kids, 3 evictions, $10 on Cash App, and still pull up in a Nissan Altima that sound like it got asthma.
Man, fuck all you hoes. Fuck you and your mammy and your granny too. I'm sick of this shit. Fuck all you hoes. Don't give a damn, bitch, what you wanna do.
Yes, sir. Quiet so said no goal set. Yeah, the goal set. Man, I didn't think nobody was gonna show up. I ain't even gonna hold you. Class 7 Saturday incoming. Yeah, and yo, brother Zeke, I'm gonna start whatchamacallit? I'm registering to take my SAA, whatchamacallit? Probably tomorrow or Sunday. Not to take it Sunday, but I'm gonna schedule it out like 30, 40 days. So I'm actually going to start streaming inside the members section, me studying for the exam, like going through notes and stuff like that. So I'm going to do like an ASMR study joints inside the members section. And so that's all the AWS stuff for SAAA. Yo, it's on and on, man. We working on being the kings of content over here. Quiet Storm said, I saw Wrench Ninja watching on Obsidian. He not slick. Yeah, Wrench, you see we got Obsidian over here now. We got a show with him every Thursday called The Sit Down. Last night was our 10th episode with Obsidian. Man, a lot of shit to change, a lot of shit to change on the channel. All right, man, let's get back to it. Lefties. Oh, you bought the blue book? All right, yeah, Stefan. Yeah, I'm using Stefan's course too. All right, you bought the Baga, you bought the blue book. All right, let's do some Lefties lose there. Our girl Rita's back, and Jimmy Kimmel is fired.
Some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
And if that wasn't bad enough, he thought it'd be a good idea to launch into a diatribe mocking President Donald Trump's grief for Charlie. Jimmy got hit with the karma truck, and perhaps he should have listened to his own advice. Only last month, he was speaking with fellow TDS-afflicted comic Sarah Silverman and decrying those on the left who are repelling people from the Democrats, repelling them by saying awful stuff. Look in the mirror, Jimmy.
It's the loud voices that scare people from saying what they believe and make you think twice about a joke or whatever, these things. And, a lot of their points are valid, but a lot of them are also just repulsive. And I mean, they repel people.
And during that chat, we found out just how demented these two are, because they are still bleating about fleeing the country, fleeing Trump's America. What are they waiting for? Be gone, miscreants.
Well, a lot of people I know are thinking about where they can get citizenship. And
I do have Italian. I did get Italian citizenship.
Well, you make like $16 million a year. Get up and go, Playboy. Ain't nobody holding you here. Like this country was a shit show under the Biden administration. And now you got tees and furries shooting shit up. These leftists live in a psycho bubble.
Oh,
I do.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
I do have that. And what's going on is as bad as you thought it was going to be.
Way worse.
It's so much worse. It's just unbelievable. Like,
who's it worse for? That's what I understand. Who's it worse for? Like shit's going pretty good for FBA black men in general.
I feel like it's probably even worse than he would like it to be.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I do every once in a while I'll Google Trump regrets or MAGA regrets just to see all the people that I'm not happy that they're upset and but it makes me hope that maybe this will bring people together.
These people are divorced from reality. They're almost beyond parody. I mean, how do you even mock that? For the record, every poll of Republican voters shows that there is no regret, that Republicans are terribly happy with their man. And those two miserable moaners also said that Trump's America is so much worse than their worst fears. But they're still in America. They have all the money, all the resources in the world to live wherever they want, and they remain in America. Now let's hear from Kamala's former boyfriend, Montel Williams, who had this sick take on Tyler Robinson.
I don't believe he was motivated.
Yeah, we covered this earlier this week, how they done played Montel Williams out here, or is it Montel? Yeah, is it Montel Williams or Montel? Yeah. To be the black face of protecting terrorist trans love. It's crazy. We gonna cover this on Sunday too. I was talking to Saul and Tito about this today, and they was not happy about it. So we gonna go in depth into this. And Storm, you sent me Dr. Common Sense. We're actually gonna go through that video on Sunday. Well, I'm gonna clip and edit it up so we have an extended joint. But yeah, that's why I would tell you, black men, stay out of this one. This is between radical tees and the federal government. This don't got nothing to do with FBA black men. And look how they got us goofy, bringing Montel Williams on the Abby Phillips show, talking this nonsense about it.
Motivated politically. I think this was motivated emotionally. I think this was a emotionally stunted person who literally, when I say it this way, just hear me, tried to defend his significant other, not trying to defend some ideology.
But although I do.
So they got black men being the face of pretending of defending, because this is a political assassination. So justifying the political assassination and defending a trans love affair with a furry boyfriend who's a terrorist. How we get put in this? Yo, yo, black men, stand down.
I think there's clearly an ideological difference. So that's why I played about what they said about the family. I mean, the ideological difference that he was reacting to.
Now, the media lies and lies by omission continue, but every now and then they get called out. Listen here as Ted Cruz takes on Caitlin Collins' absurd claims that we have no idea why Charlie was murdered. The motives are unclear.
You said a lot there, and we don't have a motive yet. We don't know yet. We're waiting. Obviously, we've heard what the governor's had to say, what the FBI director said today.
Come on, we don't have a motive yet.
We know.
We don't have a motive yet.
What's
really?
happening with?
Really, that's CNN's position.
I mean, from law enforcement,
he just happened to fire the gun in celebration. You can't tell the motive.
Senator, that's not what I said, and I said law enforcement hasn't laid out a direct motive. They've laid out a lot of evidence here of these messages and what the shooter said to family members and to.
Ted Cruz about to smack her around. And this chick is completely insufferable. Saul in the building. Yo, Saul, you there? Yo, I got a drop for you, bro. Yo, salute, Saul in the building. Yo, Wrench in the chat too. But Saul, watch the screen. I got a drop for you. MacGyver, Playboy. I grew up with that shit. Let's go. Let's watch Ted smack this broad around.
Who hated Charlie Kirk.
Yes, an absolute lie on CNN. Authorities have been clear in telling us that this individual was a far-left radical who hated Charlie and the so-called hateful message he was spreading, i.e. the truth. But Caitlin was determined to be embarrassed again. Watch her double down by making objectively false claims.
I'm saying that law enforcement has not put a specific motive. You know that there's a difference of what they're putting in a legal argument than what you're talking about. And you're not even, we're not even arguing about the facts here.
What you just said is false,
Senator
Caitlin.
No.
Caitlin, facts. Hold on a second. Let me answer your statement because what you said is factually
Senator, with all
false.
due respect,
law enforcement.
with all due respect, you're putting a lot of statements that I did not say. And I want to get back to, we just laid out the facts.
You just said law enforcement has not laid out a motive. That is objectively
we just spoke to the
false.
Deputy Attorney General.
That is objectively false.
They have not said a concrete motive of exactly what it was.
And
They laid out
CNN should
every
not be
evidence that we
engaged
know
in
so far.
misinformation. Caitlin, answer my question.
It's not
Have you seen the
misinformation,
polling
Senator.
that shows the vast majority of
you were
Democrats
taking what I
believe
said
this murderer is a
about
Republican
that.
and a Trump supporter? Have you seen that polling?
Let me get back to my questions, though, Senator, because the question here
You're not going to answer that
was
question?
actually
Are you going to answer
what
that
you were
question?
saying
You
about
have seen that
investigations that you'd like to see.
So you're not going to
Senator,
answer the
I'm the one
question.
asking the questions here.
Yes, you are asking the questions and answering them yourself, Caitlin. Will we hear from Senator Cruz at some point, I wonder? Will he be allowed to utter a single sentence without Caitlin talking over him?
And the question...
No, we were having a conversation. I understand that you want to say things that are factually false, and then you don't actually want the facts. You don't actually want the facts laid out.
Now, to round off Lefties for the week, a week where we have been told to lower the temperature, where we've been told to calm down after one of our brightest, one of our most brilliant and most decent stars was assassinated, after we've watched his murder be celebrated, where we've watched the media lie, straight out lie about the alleged assassin and his motives, as well as lie about Charlie. They want us to come together, to be unified with those who want to see us dead. Well, Vice President J.D. Vance addressed those sentiments. He wants unity, but first we have to acknowledge the truth.
Something has gone very wrong with a lunatic fringe, a minority, but a growing and powerful minority on the far left. There is no unity with people who scream at children over their parents' politics. There is no unity with someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family.
Red Sigma said, I think those BM are trying to curry favor with the powers that be on both sides for butter biscuits. I can see that. My biggest issue is, one, I did a stream, the news stream the other night, and we went through all of these streams talking about the suspect, and this is in the wake of them, labeling the Antifa tees as a terrorist organization and stuff. And I kept saying in the chat, do y'all hear them talking about black men anywhere? Do you know what I'm saying? This is like the biggest political assassination in recent history. There's some tees and furries involved. Just saying that in and of itself, like, the government ain't worried about the FBA black man at all. Like, and like I said, unless y'all got main character syndrome, like, stand down on this one. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, they're using y'all like the Keisha now as a proxy to defend Transformer shit. Bruh, that's a bad look, homie. That's a bad look.
I'm desperate for our country to be united in condemnation.
Out Charlie. And what the vice president...
All right, bet. That's Lefties losing it. Let me load up this Kash Patel versus Cory Booker. We did Kash versus Adam Schiff on Wednesday. Shout out to Quiet Storm. He actually sent me this one. Lord of Brooklyn says, anytime I would have a Montel Williams on the program. I would have the picture of him and the Madam Vice President Kamala in the background. Yo, well, I said that. I said that Wednesday also, Storm. He said, "Let them FIFO." Yeah. I mean, at this point, if you want to be collateral damage, have at it, Playboy. Wrench Turner said, I said the same thing on Dr. Tia Johnson the other night. B-Man ain't got shit to do with these violent pervs, bro. The news segment I did the other night, like old boy did on Newsmax, did a full expose, and he kept referring to him as the trans shooter with the furry boyfriend. I was like, bro, this is getting weirder and weirder. We don't want no parts of that conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all jumping out the window for nothing or for nothing on this one. Just tapped in. Yo, what up, Art of Will? All right, let's get after it. Let's get Patel's exchange with the Temu Obama. Well, actually, that's Hakeem Jeffries. This one is this Cory Booker? What are they're calling him the Dollar Tree Obama. Hold on to that.
With some breaking news, a local kidnapping has rocked Quahog tonight. Rocked Quahog? Really? The whole town is the family maybe is rocked, but the whole. All right. Well, in any event, we now go live to Asian reporter Trisha Takanawa. Let's see how much she's rocked by all this. Trisha?
Tom, I'm standing here with Mayor Adam West with the latest information about the disappearance of young Scotty Jennings. What can you tell us, Mr. Mayor?
Please, Mr. Mayor is my father. Call me John Mayor. Your body is a wonderland, by the way.
What is the city doing to help rescue the missing boy?
Well, we're looking for this child using all the latest technology, including the newest, most advanced multimedia milk cartons.
Help me, I'm missing! Help! Why are you still eating breakfast? I'm kidnapped! Why are you turning me the other way? I'm still...
All right, bet. Let's get into Kash going at it with Cory Booker, who's a complete hack. Shout out to Quiet Storm for sending me this one. Let's go.
You know how far we come tell me what my time is. You can't lecture me.
You can tell me my time's over.
You may be the target.
I'm not going anywhere.
I am not afraid of you.
You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
Oh, wow. Republican Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana, a member of the Judiciary Committee, was there, saw it all happen live, joins us now to talk about this. There's a lot I want to get to, sir, with you. But just off the top here, based on what you saw yesterday and based on the way that this Charlie Kirk investigation has gone, how do you think Kash Patel has been doing?
Well, I'll put it this way. Mr. Patel and the FBI, working with Utah state and local law enforcement officials, caught the assassin within 33 hours. And I congratulate him and all his colleagues for that.
Yeah.
In terms of the hearing yesterday, Aisha, parts of it were very informative. Parts of it, as you showed, looked like something my dog brought up. You know, it's never a good thing when senators and a witness lose their temper and start screaming at each other. It wasn't exactly a Lincoln moment. And I think most Americans look at that and some will assign blame. I don't care to, but they'll look at it and they'll think, you know, you can only be young once, but you can always be immature.
Well, on the Kirk investigation, you know, we're learning a lot all at once.
Yeah, I learned a lot yesterday.
We are, and a lot about what was going online on this, on Discord with all his buddies, Robinson's buddies, and things that he was talking about. He confessed to them that he did this. This is Kash Patel on talking to 20 other people on this channel.
Oh, what happened? What happened? YouTube up here censoring. YouTube up here censoring.
Young people online, and Congress is awfully slow when it comes to anything to do with tech and social media. So maybe Congress is not the vehicle to investigate this?
No. I think the FBI is going to be on this very aggressively. I asked the director yesterday, point blank, can you tell me with certainty that no one else was involved? And he said, no, I can't say that. And I said, could others have been involved? And he said yes. Look, the assassin, we've all seen his emails. This guy was about 10 exits past normal. That doesn't mean he's insane. He has no soul. And talking to his boyfriend or girlfriend, he's not worried about having just killed another human being in cold blood. He's worried about his dad being mad because he lost his grandfather's rifle. This guy got radicalized in some way, and I believe the FBI will get to the bottom of it, and they should. And yeah, some of it probably is the fault of social media. Maybe he had other chuckleheads encouraging him, but at the end of the day, I believe in free will and responsibility.
Okay.
And this guy's going to be held and should be held responsible for his actions.
Okay, one last thing I got to ask you about. Senator Chuck Grassley revealing some documents that claim that the FBI, when it was run under the Biden administration, targeted groups, GOP groups like Turning Point. Your thoughts on that?
It doesn't surprise me. There were some people, not the majority, but some people at the FBI under President Biden who used their positions of power to prosecute their political beliefs or the president's political beliefs. We know that. We've seen the evidence. Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, and part of Mr. Patel's mission needs to be to get rid of them. Now, that doesn't mean to go the other way. That means to just turn the FBI back into a professional, apolitical organization. But there's no question that under President Biden, the place was political as hell.
Okay, Senator, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your insights and bringing all that to us this morning.
I'm Steve Ducey. I'm Brian Kilmeade.
All right, bet. Let's get into some meat and potatoes. Once again, shout out to Storm. I'm gonna do this one backwards. Let's do. I'm gonna roll back into the Antifa segment, but let's do Soldier of Finance. A deep dive into since we just brought it up in the chat, let's double down on this. And we want to prove our point. This don't got nothing to do with black men. Y'all need to stand down. Talking about Charlie, putting yourself in the middle of it. People is being officially labeled terrorist organizations by the government. Bro, we ain't in this conversation at all, and we don't want no parts of this booty gang business, this dangerous booty gang business. You know what I mean? Hey, Bussy Ranger, Red Sigma said, Bussy Rangers. Yeah, we ain't got nothing to do with that. You feel me? So let's do this. My man Soldier Finance doing his little expose on this joint. He said armed fairies and queers vow to take down the U.S. after being implicated in the Charlie Kirk incident. We cover Soldier Finance over here because the brother makes good political content and commentary, and he's funny. So he's I made Tito, myself, and Saul. We made this argument almost immediately when it's happened. We stood down on it. But This is a 9-minute deep dive in this, and basically Soldier Finance is making the same arguments we're making. Like, bro, this shit don't got nothing to do with us. Pay attention.
It takes a violent protesting people to listen. Do you agree, or should they remain peaceful?
I agree. I absolutely agree. You know, I'm a member of the LGBTQ community, and our liberation and our rights came after the Stonewall riots. That's something that a lot of people don't like to talk about, is that, you know, the LGBTQ movement started with Stonewall riots. I wouldn't even be able to be a student at the school if it wasn't for a violent riot that took place within a span of 3 days. So I absolutely agree that sometimes violence, protests and really riots and those kinds of loud rebellions must take place for tangible change.
The queer gun clubs. I think it's armed queers. Okay, now where am I reading this out of? I'm reading this out of Zero Hedge, guys. And if you're asking why, and let me know if this is an issue. I am not bringing up the.
Yo, wow. That's not true, is it? Rich said when the shooter jumped down from the building, he landed in a split and smiled at the security cameras. That's not true, is it? Yo, that's not true, is it? Yo, that's funny as shit.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap.
Oh. Yo, that's funny as shit. Yo, what's the song said Pete Booty Gang? Yo, bro. Yo, y'all know during the election that doing when Biden came up and introduced him as Pete Booty Juice, right? That shit was funny as hell. Storm said, I heard he had pom-poms in his backpack like Terrell Owens celebrating a touchdown. Y'all know shit.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap. Stop the.
All right, let's let my man get into it.
Articles. I will bring video up, but I'm doing this to kind of control the bandwidth issues that we've had, right? So let me know if that's a big problem. You know, you guys are the audience, you drive this, so let me know. But in the meantime, armed queers, Marxist revolutionaries under investigation for possible foreknowledge of Kirk's assassination plot. 2025 news reads like a comic book. Okay, so now we got the armed queers. FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino said Monday that Charlie Kirk's...
Yo, he be so dry about it. So now we got the armed queers. And bro, I'm playing this because so we're all catching this. Like, bro, when you dig into the facts of this story, I be telling black men, stand down. This shit don't got nothing to do with us. We don't even want to be in this motherfucking conversation, homie. You got people dressing up like stuffed animals, butt plugs and shit, armed trannies and militias. Like, bro, we don't, bro, you don't want to be involved in this conversation at all.
Accused assassin Tyler Robinson, described by some as a radical left Antifa adjacent creep. Wow. With a radicalized transgender partner, may have been aided and abetted by an extended network. Okay, so they're looking for folk who may have been accomplices in this. The New York Post confirms that federal agents are investigating whether pro-trans online groups, furries, with sexualized animal obsessions.
All right, let's piece by piece. Furries with sexualized animal obsessions. This is what's going on, bro. Yeah, brothers, even the hoteps, bro, stay out of this conversation. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Unless that's what you into. If so, then have at it.
And others tied to Robinson had advanced knowledge of the political assassination plot. These groups include communities on the online gaming platform Steam, as well as Armed Queers Salt Lake City. So they're like official, okay? Armed Queers Salt Lake City. They got chapters. Never heard about, funny how you never hear about them, like you always hear about the NRA, right? when they want to demonize guns. You always hear about the NRA, but I have not yet heard of armed queer Salt Lake City.
He said, Saul said furry cells. Bro, this is what he's saying. There's a furry militia, bro. Butt plugs and animal costumes, bro. This is some strange shit, homie.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now. Stop the cap. Stop.
Mentioned in any derogatory way by the left. Okay, so Peter Schweitzer has a tweet that says mainstream outlets are now reporting alleged assassin Tyler Robinson did not act in a vacuum. There may even be dozens with advanced knowledge of a sinister plan. Marxist infiltration, transgender ideology, trips to Cuba, money, and CCP operatives. So basically, guys, look, maybe a blessing in disguise. So the finance is not that big, right? Because look, in all seriousness, I think that they don't have like the number of folk. They got some folk that are definitely willing to carry out violent acts. We've seen that, right? And they're radicalized to do just that. So when you see someone, this blows my mind, because you've seen plenty of people on like these MSNBC pundits, for example. They decry Kirk's right to get out there and debate with people. And now, mind you, people weren't being forced to debate. They were like participating willingly, right? They were sitting in the audience and say, hey, I want to confront him about this. And they would go up to the mic, right? So you've got people who are willingly participating in that, but you got other people who are saying, we're not open for debate at all. We don't want to talk to you. We just want to silence you. And if you don't remain silent, then we'll take drastic measures. Instant messaging and VoIP, or voice over internet protocol, social platform Discord, stated that Robinson did not plan violence on the platform. However, a Discord spokesman said the assassin wrote in a channel just hours before arrest that he was responsible for Kirk's killing. Here's the quote. Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. That's a quote. Read a message from an account that allegedly belonged to Robinson, according to CBS News, citing a law enforcement source. Quote, it was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this. Robinson was formally charged moments ago with murder in Utah. He will be appearing in court at the top of the hour. Now, Utah has a firing squad. They do have the death penalty. So, you know, when you talk about the death penalty in America, this kid's in his 20s. Hell, he could be in his 60s by the time they actually carry it out, with the appeals process being what it is. And maybe you get, someone that comes into office that outlaws it. You never know, right? I believe he is also going to be charged federally because murdering Kirk was definitely a deprivation of Kirk's civil rights, his highest civil right, right to exist, right? All right, so with regard to these armed queer folk, okay, not far, there is still suspicion surrounding multiple groups, including armed queer Salt Lake City and the Socialist Rifle Association, okay? I've never heard of either of these two, right? Always hear the NRA whenever they need to demonize guns. John Solomon's team at Just the News also had its crosshairs on armed queers Salt Lake City on Sunday, reporting not far from where FBI agents continue to scour for more evidence in Charlie Kirk's assassination, a self-described armed revolutionary group openly aligned with Cuba has risen up on the streets of one of America's most conservative states. Armed Queers SLC says its mission is to train gay, queer, and transgender people to arm themselves and to fight against capitalism. Now, this is interesting because I thought gay people wanted inclusion, but here they are creating a group. And look, we know it's not all gay people, okay? These are some radical folk here, right? But they've created a group. They're not in, this group is not interested in inclusion at all because they've created a very insular group, right? Although, and they want to, their self-avowed mission is to fight capitalism.
And you see that the flight these with the AK-47, the queries, and that's what I'm saying. All y'all black men and hoteps jumping in front of this and rah 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 for this for what happened to Charlie Kirk and everything, and be like, bro, like you're aligning yourself with this shit. Like you're making yourself the face of the queer resistance and the and these butt plug revolutionaries dressed up like stuffed animals and shit. Like, bro, it's some wild shit, bro. Y'all really need to stand down. It is not a good look.
And I bet you each of them has an Apple product, at least one. I don't know who, maybe Cuba donated the guns. Otherwise, I think they would have had to purchase those. I doubt if they made them. Then again, you can do that. Maybe some did. Although their purported Facebook page does not directly appear to encourage the use of firearms in their claimed mission, many of the images used depict firearms. Sure, you can't do that on Facebook. They'll shut you down. So, as recently as this spring, its members traveled to Cuba for a meeting to celebrate the May Day holiday and participate in a march and events alongside revolutionaries from around the world. Two leaders of armed queers, Ermia Finnegan, I believe, and a man who called himself Connor, discussed their trip to Cuba in a since-deleted May video titled, quote, "Cuba Report Back, Our Time as 2025 May Day Brigadistas," unquote. A search by Just the News could not positively identify Connor. Which leaves us with ex-user Data Republican, also known as Jenna Pounds, who leads Doge adjacent efforts full-time, went down the armed queers rabbit hole last night. What Pounds found expanded on Solomon's report, and we are sure that the FBI and Rubio's State Department are also investigating this radical leftist group, which has ties to Cuba and other organizations working to subvert.
Bro, there you go. There you go, Red Sigma. Spot on. Spot on. They doing y'all like the quiches now. They having y'all jump out in front of this and be the face, and like Red Sigma said, they going to be the face and then switch and blame y'all. Do any of this sound like it got anything to, bro? Like, this is some extra weird shit, bro. Like these butt plug revolutionaries, and they're furries. That mean they dressed up like stuffed animals. Like, bro, it's a bunch of dudes with wigs. You're like, bro, this ain't got nothing to do with y'all. Stand down. Let the government do their job. Boys paint their rounds of rifles and call them gay AR-15s. Bro, that's what I'm talking about. Like, and you see, they had to pay Montel Williams to get on there and make that statement. Of course, they did it on the Abby Phillips show with the Tether Keisha leading the show. Bro, it's social engineering, and y'all black men look goofy jumping. Y'all, they doing y'all like they do the Keishas to get the Keishas to jump in front of the liberal white women causes, bro. This shit ain't got nothing to do with us. Y'all should fall back, keep quiet, let the government do their job. You feel me? Let the government do their job. All right, Quiet Storm sent me that, John. And we do Soldier of Finance over here. A lot of his content, because he be doing the political and financial content. But here's the official. I did one of the exposés the other night. Let's do this one. This is Carl Higbee over at Newsmax. and this is the actual real real reporting on this. The Socialist Rifle Association, and there are Antifa chapters all over the U.S. Bro, like I said, this is some extra weird shit, and brothers ain't in this conversation, and we should not want to have ourselves in this conversation as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, like I said, unless this is your thing, I could see how you would have you'd have a dog in a fight. But if this ain't your, if that ain't your get down, dog, like, fall back, bro.
Rabbit hole on who really makes up Antifa, despite what the internet says, that Antifa isn't. They're trying to make it not a formal organization. It actually is. And here, this is from the ADL. I mean, we know the left loves to cite their very one-sided data on right-wing political violence, so that's the rule. We have to accept them as a credible source, right, Libs? That's how it works. So the ADL says, quote, Antifa adherents focus on countering right-wing extremists both online and on the ground, citing them as an actual group. They're acknowledging they exist. But who makes up Antifa? And even more important, it's actually a series of subgroups that we found some were pretty disturbing, like the Socialist Rifle Association. It flies the Antifa flag. Now, with their About page stating, we are an organization dedicated to educating on and advocating for all aspects of self and community defense.
The Trump presidency and seeing how, like, Trump emboldened.
Bro, what I tell you, bro. What I tell you. They dug deep. I'm trying, bro. What I tell you, bro. Yo, probably definitely non-FBA. What I tell you, bro. This shit ain't got nothing to do with it, and they finding a way to get the brothers' face. Now, mind you, a lot of y'all motherfuckers on social media volunteered, but now that they cut Carl Higbee, yo, why they got this good? And I'm telling you, I'm sure the Socialist Rifle Association, they got the goofy Negro in front of this, the organization that they're about to name a terrorist, or that they're about to make a terrorist organization.
Literal Nazis, literal fascists.
Okay, they actually have 10,000 members, according to their claims. 10,000 of those people you just saw. The think Trump is like somehow inspiring Nazi fascists all over the country. I mean, like, who could possibly have guessed where they got that idea from?
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
Fascism.
Fascist.
Racist nationalism.
Fascist dictatorship.
Rise of fascism.
Fascist dictator.
Fascism.
No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core.
I mean, I couldn't imagine where they got that notion, right? What's even crazier is that Biden spent his entire presidency warning us that militias are bad and have no place in America. Democrats even proposed a bill to ban militias, which totally tracks since they haven't read the second sentence of the Second Amendment, the part about arms. They darn sure haven't read the first part about militias. Literally the first sentence, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms.
Yeah, exactly. Militias are right in the Second Amendment.
Three of those things shall not be infringed, but I digress. Now, while Biden was cracking down on anyone on the right, I mean, like anybody who even dared to really buy a firearm, we know we were all put on watch lists because of this. These people, these leftist lunatics, were literally building a 10,000 person militia and thanking Biden, ending their logo on the front screen of this right here, the Socialist Rifle Association. They were literally arming inspired by this.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
And the basis for this socialist militia, they literally say it.
Our government thrives on inequality, and it is a white patriarchal system it is racist, but for the first time in decades, we had a president who was not afraid to speak out against some of.
And this is what I'm talking about. Every ethnicity, every gender bending group, every immigrant, liberal white women, liberal white men, they all get to do whatever they want and hide behind racist. Well, I'm doing this because that's racist. You understand? And this is what I kept saying to y'all all last year leading up to the Trump. Y'all gotta. You're losing the moral high ground by allowing people to call everything racist and everything can be attacked, because if everything is racist, sooner or later, nothing is going to be racist. And now with the death of Charlie Kirk, these motherfuckers don't care if it's racist or not. They like the sympathy for the race card and all that is gone. Motherfuckers do not care.
Our biggest social justice movements that were happening in America at the time.
That's like the first interaction he's had with anybody where he hasn't asked if they want fries with that. This is the membership base, though. These are the people. They live in this like false reality. And I don't know if they have some mental problems or actually have convinced themselves that these things are real. But I mean, look at this.
We were living in Elkton when I first took in shooting, and I was noticing a lot of Nazis. I was up there doing home energy audits, you know, so I was in a lot of people's houses, and I was in a lot of neighborhoods, and I was in a lot of bad neighborhoods. And there were a lot of Confederate flags and a lot of swastikas.
I'm going to take things that didn't happen for 500. I mean, keep watching that salad. She's from Elkton, Maryland, which is just so happens to be north of the Mason-Dixon line. Ain't a lot of Confederate flags up there, but this is like suburban America. This is right off I-95. So when she tells me that she went into houses and saw like Confederate flags and swastikas, I call BS. Look, as you can imagine, I get to meet some very right-wing people being in this role here, okay? Like, I hunt all over the South, and I have never seen a swastika flag in anyone's home ever. I would also kind of like to remind her, in relation to her fake La La Land story, that as recently as 2020, states like Mississippi flew the Confederate flag as part of an official state flag ensemble. South Carolina was up until 2015, Georgia until 2001, just for the culturally illiterate woman who's washing a salad that she's going to pretend to eat. But if that offends her, I'd also like to state for the record that the same group, her same group didn't say a word about illegal immigrants here, sometimes flying even the ISIS flag. You find swastikas so offensive? They're flying an ISIS flag during protest in like Dearborn, Michigan, or the Palestinian flag. Those are actually representative of a couple groups and places that want to kill all Americans. I mean, you see how stupid this movement is? But in that, we still can't discount it. In fact, and this is what Trump was talking about.
Regarding designating them a terrorist organization, when they don't have defined leadership or membership, how do you target them? Antifa.
We're going to find out.
Yeah. Membership in this group is actually linked to 4 high-profile incidents of political violence just recently, all of which claimed some adherence to the Antifa movement. 10 of them were charged in storming an ICE facility in Texas, resulting in them shooting a law enforcement officer. People charged in relation to firebombing Tesla dealerships on Inauguration Day and around that, also directly linked to this group. Some of their members are even linked to foreign terror groups and international militias. Not the ones from Ilhan Omar's district. Those are just regular terrorists. But this group is bad news. Now, look, I know most people are, in this group are like soft-bodied leftists. They can't fight. They live in their mom's basement, whatever. Okay, but think about everywhere these Antifa affiliates popped up. Chaz Chop took over, 8 city blocks in Seattle. Kenosha, Wisconsin, where Kyle Rittenhouse shot 3 people in self-defense. The Oregon courthouse that was lit on fire. I mean, these folks are a real problem. They're a menace. I'd challenge their membership versus NRA membership as to who contributes more to society. But I'd also like to point out that this dude is wearing a Soviet Union hat, which is communist, which is essentially the same as fascism. But They're Antifa. Beyond that, and again, this is how ridiculous this whole movement is and how dumb these people actually are. Their supporters, the same guy who said Antifa is not a real thing, the Krasensteins, also think that cracking down on Antifa is what Hitler did. And I'm like, I saw this tweet and I was like, does anybody want to tell him, like, what else did Hitler do? Oh, right. Took away guns, replaced religion with government, and bribed low-income people with government handouts. That's not exactly a Republican message. That's kind of your party's message. And the overwhelming irony here is that the Socialist Rifle Association claiming to they're literally claiming to be fighting Nazis that are mythically inspired by somehow Donald Trump's fake hate. I wonder if they know what the direct translation of Nazi is. Oh, right. National Socialist German Workers' Party. They clearly can't read, but you tell me. You think Trump should be classifying them as a terror group? I think I just made a pretty decent case for it.
Yo, spot on. Spot on. And I think Quiet Storm sent me that one. He sent me the Soldier of Finance one, but bruh. So I said, yo, stand down. This shit ain't got nothing to do with us. And since Trump has declared these guys Antifa a terrorist organization, that's a good segue. And for me to play a piece of I think it was Brother Z asked me to do a follow-up, some additional. We were covering Brian Maxwell was going over the pending, if at all possible, RICO charge they're trying to put towards George Soros, because George Soros is, through his various organizations, etc., is actually funding a lot of this activity here in the United States. So let's play a little bit more of that one, because we stopped like midstream with that one last time we did this. But this one is demands to arrest George Soros for the $260 million USAID fraud linked to political violence and election tampering.
And what the courts did, rightfully so, they put a lien on all Beto O'Rourke's money and property. And as you see here, thanks to a court order signed by Judge Megan Fahey, Beto O'Rourke can no longer raise or distribute money for or to rogue Texas House Democrats who fled the state to avoid doing their jobs. Furthermore, she placed a lien on all money and property owned by the failed political candidate. If you see Beto, you might offer to buy him lunch. He might be getting a little hungry. So because he wanted to jump in and illegally and unethically, let me say unethically more so than illegally, unethically fund these Democrats when they should have been there in Texas doing their job, all because Texas was doing what Illinois, Massachusetts, California, Maine, what all of these left, New York, what all of these blue states did, which is giving tremendous representation to the least educated among them, where these other states are going to expand and give proper representation. There's an influx of Hispanic voters. There's an increase in African Americans that are now conservative voters. So they need proper representation, and that's what it's about. Now, as we lead into this next phase, because this whole thing with Soros, come to find out, he is linked and backed the Obama, Hillary Clinton hoax, Russia hoax, into President Trump. Now, just for a quick trip down memory lane, do you remember this classic moment during the debate when President Trump shut her down with this line?
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
We want to remind the audience to please not talk out loud. Please do not applaud.
Look at how pissed they look. They could tell she just got owned right there. But I bring that up because President Trump had class. When he got in the first time, he said it wouldn't look good if he went after a former president's wife. But guess what? The tables have turned. He doesn't feel that way anymore because Hillary Clinton has gone as far as to say that Trump supporters need to be reprogrammed, literally go through deprogramming. And those are things that.
Yeah. Oh, boy, spot on. We've made this argument before. With Trump's first term, Trump, it was new to Washington. He came in like a real patriot, believing in the Constitution and the and that, you know, and then at the end of the day, the government would do its job and everything. He found out real quick how deep the swamp was, and then when they stole the election from him the second time, you know, I don't really even think that's too much up for the debate. And then trying to kill him when he ran this time. So by the time he's in office now, he ain't playing no games. And like I said, the American public wants to see someone go to jail.
The agency, the alphabet agencies used to do and allegedly stopped it. But the fact that she even thinking about something like that lets you know how deranged this woman is. She alienates, she called deplorables and all this other crap. But yet, let's think of the body count that's been found under the Clintons. The bodies, we talking about 10 or more, not to mention the lives ruined just because they wanted to tell the truth. Hillary Clinton attacked women who were assaulted by her husband and went to destroy their lives. We watched this woman laugh when getting a cell phone about someone overseas that the United States were beefing with, I believe one of the Saudis, when he was found unalive, blown up. She was just excited about it and giddy. This woman has zero moral compass. What she's about is power. Now, because of her thirst for power, she has been exposed. And this email is the smoking gun if anybody ever needed or wanted any evidence. Now, this is from Leonard Bernardo. Now, Leonard Bernardo is a representative with George Soros and Open Society. He's also somebody that Democrat politicians have lied and said that they didn't know. As a matter of fact, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the congresswoman from California, came flat out and said, oh, no, I don't know him, never talked to him.
The document reportedly came to the attention of U.S. intelligence officials from Dutch intelligence. It included discussion of an email exchange between former DNC chairwoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Leonard Bernardo, an official with Open Society Foundations run by George Soros. According to the Times, Wasserman Schultz allegedly told Bernardo that then Attorney General Loretta Lynch would not charge Clinton with a crime for having the private email server. Wasserman Schultz and Bernardo have both denied even being in contact with each other, suggesting the document was a fake attempt by the Russians to throw a wrench into the U.S. intelligence community. A spokeswoman for Bernardo sent me a statement today. I want to read part of it. Quote, Bernardo has never spoken with or corresponded with Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz in any fashion. The email mentioned is fictitious disinformation.
But check this email out. Hi, HRC, and we know who HRC is. If you don't, that's Hillary Rodham Clinton. HRC approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections. That should distract people from her own missing email, especially if the affair goes to the Olympic level. The point is making the Russian play a U.S. domestic issue. Say something like a critical infrastructure threat for the election to feel menace, since both POTUS and VPOTUS have acknowledged the fact that IC would speed up searching for evidence that is regrettably still unavailable. However, there seems to be signs GRU penetration. Now,
yo, what's up, Gold P? Yo, you have a great weekend too, man. Yo, salute Irvin Reed. I see you in the building. Hey, yo, Irv, check out this MacGyver drop.
You may be wondering what GRU is. What GRU stands for, that's a Russian foreign military agency, okay? So also, however, the acronym can refer to the gated recurring unit, but another way of GRU is Main Intelligence Directorate. It's their equivalent of our CIA. So they use that as far as in this message, as in saying like there's evidence of the GRU, so they can use that to throw it off and say that it's Russia. So okay, so just so you know what GRU is, that's the equivalent of the Russian CIA. So, however, there seems to be signs of GRU penetration. Cyrillic 2.0 VPN, and that's virtual private network. VPN, elite VPN, Felix Edmunovich. Now, Felix Edmunovich is a man who passed away in 1926, but he is like the founder or the father of the GRU, or the main intelligence agency in Russia. So the fact that this reference to this individual during this quote unquote hack attempt is what they're using to leverage it and make the American public believe that it's Russian, when in reality it's the Clinton Foundation, Soros, and Obama. In absence of direct evidence, CrowdStrike and Threat Connect will supply the media, and GRU will hopefully carry on to give more facts. So they found that there was some tinkering, nothing on a major level, when they said, and they felt like that was coming from the GRU. So they were able to leverage that little bit of tinkering that had nothing to do with elections and amplify it and blow it up, and then put other lighter fluid and gasoline on it to just make it the explosion that it became. When clear as day here, it stated that Hillary Clinton approved Julia's message to say that Trump and Russia hackers in the U.S. election. It's right there in black and white. And this is July 27th of 2016. Now, check out this clip here from Fox News as they air out even more information about what's going on. Check this clip out.
Documents contain emails, allegedly from the senior vice president of the George Soros Open Society Foundation. He quotes a Clinton campaign advisor saying, quote, "It will be a long-term affair and to demonize Putin and Trump," and adds that, quote, "Later, the FBI will put more oil into the fire," unquote. Other emails reveal Hillary Clinton approved the idea of tying Trump and Russia to election interference. And that was the scheme, hoping the allegations would distract people from her own email scandal. These documents provide clear evidence that Hillary Clinton's campaign was behind the Russia hoax and that the FBI knew what the Clinton team was up to, acknowledging that the info they were receiving about the Trump campaign may have come from the Clinton camp. Despite this, the Obama intel community forged ahead with their 2017 assessment, concluding that Russia aspired to help Trump win the election.
So the fact of the matter is, these folks with the skullduggery that they pulled really could have screwed this country over, and they wouldn't have gave a dang. Now, this clip is just a few seconds, but check this out on what they had to say about this Soros situation, because again, the more and more information that comes out, the deeper and deeper the rabbit hole goes. And I assure you, I firmly believe somebody will be held accountable. Now, whether the Soroses themselves will go to prison, I mean, these are powerful people, and they can travel the world without setting foot in America and still have the impact and the power. But I assure you, the earth is shrinking up for them. Check this out.
And his vision is becoming a reality. Reports show the billionaire has helped the campaigns of at least 75 district attorneys throughout the United States. These DAs represent 72 million citizens, or more than 1 in 5 Americans. Soros has spent more than $40 million in direct spending over the past decade to elect prosecutors using various shell organizations to execute his bidding.
Matt Palumbo's the author of The Man Behind.
Now, you see, so when we wonder why haven't there been more prosecutions, that right there explains it all. As a matter of fact, let me show you some of the people that the Soros money has funded to get in these positions of power. See that name right there? You recognize him? Alvin Bragg. Kim Fox out of Illinois, the whole Jussie Smollett debacle that she tried to sweep under the rug until the outrage and the backlash was so loud, she had to go back, and guess what? They gave the man 6 months and then let the dude out after like a week. So the only reason all of that happened was just because there was so much backlash. But Kim Fox, they loved what Jussie Smollett did, trying to create a race war with this hate crime and the fake news. Like some white MAGA supporters were out in sub below zero, freezing weather at 2 a.m. while he's walking to get a sub, and they're just walking around with bleach and a noose looking for some gay person to attack because they say, "Hey, you're the gay guy from Empire." Poured it all on him. Insanity. Soros funded though. Gascon out of LA, horrible person. Soros funded. He's one of the judges that every time the Trump administration tried to come in and do something to help the people, he's one of the judges they can always go to slap some injunction. And that's the problem we have. These Soros funded DAs are the same ones that could be living in New Hampshire, but it's going to put an injunction to stop President Trump deporting illegals out of someplace like South Dakota. Nothing to do with what's going on in New Hampshire. I'm just using that example. But that's what these leftist judges do. So when we talk about why isn't there more arrests, think about what would happen if President Trump brings a case and is one of these radical DAs that is just CDS, Trump hater, no matter what. They're going to do everything they can to destroy and tank that case. And so the power reach is all within the courts. That's why there haven't been more prosecutions. So I pray that people give more grace and realize that it's only the first 8 months. And President Trump is coming with it, but it's got to be done right. So let me get into this article. President Trump urges RICO charges against Soros and Son. There's an abundant documentation that George Soros, through his Open Society foundations and other leftist channels, has donated dollars galore to left-wing ideology. No crap. And there is equal evidence that many left-wing groups have done much damage to America. Consider the Black Lives Matter movement, an agenda which inflicted hundreds of millions of dollars in race riot destruction on American cities after the death of George Floyd. Now, whether the Soros money went directly into pushing that violence or not may be the subject to investigation. President Donald Trump called for RICO charges against not just George Soros, but his son Alex, who has taken over control of his father's multi-billion-dollar empire that is dedicated to leftist goals. George Soros and his wonderful radical left son should be charged with RICO because of their support of violent protests and much more, all throughout the United States of America. We're not going to allow these lunatics to rip apart America anymore, never giving it so much as a chance to breathe and be free. Soros and his group of psychopaths have caused great damage to our country. That includes his crazy West Coast friends. Be careful. We're watching you. Thank you for your attention to this matter, the president wrote. This will be nice, but Pam Blondie is our AG. Is anyone going to jail? Laura Loomer don't play. RICO charges often involve racketeering or organized crime ventures. The Washington Examiner explained the comment was part of Trump's feud with the Democratic megadonors. Now, that's Alex Soros there with Hillary Clinton's former aide or whatever Uma Aberdeen. She used to be married to Anthony Weiner before he got busted exposing his wiener. And she left Anthony Weiner and do you want to say hit the jackpot or sold her soul? And she got with Alex Soros. And I swear, this woman was already thin. When she got with him, she looked like literally, she eat one cracker and you'd be able to see it on her body because she is so thin. She's like, man, good grief. That does not look healthy. Trump has long joined Republicans in painting the Soros family as Democratic boogeymen due to the millions they have funneled into left-wing campaigns, causes, and protests over the past 3 decades, the report said. Reports indicate that the Open Society Foundations, which Alex now chairs, has helped fund activists protesting the president's takeover of the police in D.C. And though Trump did not mention Washington by name, he claimed their history of donations and grants meets the standard for charges under the Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. Now, I noticed that it said Trump did not mention Washington by name, but I believe that it would be Soros. The report noted the White House and Justice Department officials declined to answer questions about Trump's comment, specifically whether the administration has already opened a RICO investigation into Soros and Open Society. So President Trump didn't want to answer because a man like that is too powerful. And what's up with our media? They trip me out always asking the president some of the craziest questions. Well, hey, listen, with everything going on in such and such, do you plan on striking this way or will you plan to sneak attack around that way? And Trump will say, why would I?
All right, but I wanted to cover some more of that. I think I told somebody in the chat I'd circle back to that segment, to this Soros segment. All right, bet we're at the 123-minute mark. Let's do some by the numbers and get the hell up out of here. This is a new number set. It's a new data. We're going to do Mark over at Rasmussen again. This is a new data set. I think this is a day old. All right, bet. We did Mark the other day. We did Mark on Wednesday also, and he had a recent data set. I think he still had some polling data. I think he still had the poll out in the field, the day that Charlie Kirk was deleted. So this is a new data set, and this one is Americans rally behind Trump in stunning awakening. He's going to go through the numbers on this. So this is our guy Mark over at Rasmussen, and this is by the numbers segment.
Very first time in a very long while, Donald Trump's net approval is now up massively. And we're going to get into it as well as some of the other important things that are going on. Now, if you follow the news at all, you heard that scumbag Jimmy Kimmel, that lying scumbag, he was out there lying about the intentions of the Charlie Kirk assassin, is now, I guess, indefinitely suspended as the host of his late night program. But you might not have picked up on this. Not only did they send him packing, they're also rubbing his nose in his own filth like a unhousebroken little puppy. And my understanding is behind the scenes, he is livid. He has declared war on ABC Disney. He is not going to go on any of their shows. He's not going to play ball. for the contract negotiation that seems like it's inevitable. Poor Jimmy. But this out of Variety. And in case you don't know, like what happened here is that ABC is a broadcaster. They have this network that's allowed to use the public airwaves. That falls under the purview of the FCC. There are requirements and responsibilities, including not using those airwaves to lie to the American people. So this isn't a First Amendment thing. This is a poor Jimmy Kimmel, actions have consequences thing. And this is out of Variety. In addition, the company, Sinclair, that is demanding that Kimmel apologize to Charlie Kirk's family and send a meaningful personal donation to them, as well as Turning Point USA. Not bloody likely. The organization Kirk founded that advocates for conservative politics in high schools and colleges. Sinclair, one of the US's large TV station owners, has long had a reputation for having a politically conservative tilt. Really? Do they really, Variety? Or do they just know which way the wind is blowing? But then this, I mean, what's wild is the left is now going to boycott ABC and Disney. See, I've been saying this. When you get political, you can't please anybody. ABC, Disney got boycotted by the right. Now it's going to get boycotted by the left. And our friend John Nolte, also a public opinion aficionado, is here for it. Everybody should. I'm with you 100%. It's delightful. Now everybody hates Disney. Well, they shouldn't have put their thumb on the scales. They shouldn't have funded that horrifying propaganda outfit 538. But this out of our friend Paul Bedard from the Washington Examiner, the Charlie Kirk slaying was a wake-up call, pushing MAGA back to Trump. This is how he covered the news for today. President Donald Trump is experiencing a sudden boost in support, especially from conservative independents who felt the White House was bungling key issues such as the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Behind his approval rating uptick isn't a sense that the White House is doing a better job, but rather the assassination of popular conservative activist Charlie Kirk and concerns about growing political violence against the right. Rasmussen Reports pollster, me, said his daily survey showed a notable surge of support for Trump that pushed the president into positive approval rating territory. Today, 51% approved to 47% disapprove. And here it is in our daily presidential approval snapshot. September 9th, the day before the Charlie Kirk assassination, Donald Trump was underwater 2 points, net approval -2, 48% approved to 50% disapprove. But I also want to point out right direction, wrong track here. Right track was at 45%. And for most of Trump's second term, it's been in the 45 to 47 vicinity. It got up to 50, which was a record. The first time ever in our entire polling history seeing a positive right direction, wrong track. 45% right track, 51% wrong direction, underwater 6. Still really good, historic. It was like 30, high 20s actually, for a lot of Joe Biden's presidency. And I have net right direction, wrong track by each political group here so that we can compare a before and after. But again, before the Kirk assassination, 83% Republican President Trump approval, 19% Democrat, and 44% independent. Now here we are today, Trump approval up to +4. This is the highest it's been since July 1st, before the signing of the big beautiful bill and before the Epstein debacle. Very, very, very important. This puts him back into sort of like spring territory. Again, 83% Republican approval, it has not changed. But Democrat approval of Trump has gone up a lot, 7 points. That's pretty meaningful. Well, why? I don't know. Maybe it's Democrats feeling conciliatory, giving Trump the benefit of the doubt. Or it could be a conservative Democrat response bias. Maybe some of the crossover Democrats just stopped answering polls with the same frequency over the summer, and they're back because things are changing very fast. Independent Trump approval up to 47%. He was down 8 points. He's now down only 3 among independents. That's also a massive move because after Epstein, the one big beautiful bill, and the bombing of Iran, independent approval of Trump got down to -19. It's now at -3. Net right direction, wrong track right now underwater 13 points. So it shifted 7 points in the wrong track direction. That's a really big move. And 40% is the lowest it's been for all of President Trump's second term. And it's not coming back up. So we will see tomorrow if it actually, for the first time in this presidency, has a 3 handle. That would be pretty incredible. And again, this isn't an anti-Trump signal. I think this is a signal of fear, resolution, awakening. Call it what you will, but that's what it feels like to me. Post your thoughts in the comments. And remember, interaction helps more people see this news. Again, there is nobody putting out daily Trump presidential approval tracking. There is nobody tracking right direction, wrong track on a daily basis. And how do you know? How do you know if it's noise? How do you know if it's a signal? If these pollsters just show up every 2-3 months and just throw something over the fence? If we are not in business, you will not get this information, which in my opinion means probably the amount of lying and gaslighting and cherry picking that goes on in the industry increases. Again, we are not supported by political parties. We are not supported by USAID or progressive dark NGO money. We're supported by subscribers and advertisers. So please click like, spread this message, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, subscribe to our other channel, Rasmussen_rewind. That's where you can see clips from our live streams. Come to a live stream. We're going to live stream tonight, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Humbly request that you check it out. Maybe even go to our website, rasmussenreports.com. So the overall change in net right direction, wrong track, again, 7 points in the wrong direction for everybody. 16 points in the wrong direction for GOP. That's a really big move. But 8 points in the right direction for Democrats. That's kind of weird. A cynic would say, wow, they like the idea that conservative activists are getting killed. But I don't think that's what's happening here. Keep in mind, there has also been a major uptick in Democrat Trump job performance approval. I think what we're...
Yo, what up, bro? He said, can you explain for the record what he means when he says, if it was at these levels since you covered it? Sometimes these great numbers lose the narrative at that time. He's referring to some of the levels, one in prior administrations. He's referring back to prior administrations. He's comparing the Trump administration to the Biden administration, the Obama administration, sometimes when he's referencing how well Trump is performing or how well he's not performing. So a lot of what Mark is doing, he's giving you pretty much up-to-date, constant polling numbers around certain issues regarding the administration, but then he's also, a lot of times he's also comparing it to the Biden administration and the Obama administration. Those are the two previous administrations, and they're both Democrat as well. And but he's also, usually in the crosstabs, he's breaking down the questions asked in the polling sample. And then based on whatever the numbers are and the percentages are in the time frame, he'll usually give you some historical basis on the question in the crosstab and why the significance of that number. And with some of his analysis and interpretation as well.
Seeing here is reprioritization. People in the Democrat side saying, you know what? Those things I cared about a week ago might not matter as much. Maybe I should bury certain hatchets. Again, I think these are big movements. Will they be temporary? Will they be long-lived? Not sure. It could go either way. But for independents also, right direction, wrong track, moved in the wrong track direction, 13 points, another really big move. They went from 40% right track down to just 32% right track. This is where they were during the Biden administration. So independents, perennially the toughest to please, are pretty unhappy right now. Now, here's what the raw net Trump job performance numbers look like. Again, it's really spiky because these shift, and each data point is 2,000 U.S. likely voters, but it still has a plus or minus 2% margin of error. And what do we see? A massive uptick in this red line. This is Trump 2.0. You can see that this darker red line is Trump 1.0, and we're in a totally different territory because there isn't a massive and effective psychological operation going on trying to convince all of America that Trump is a Russian asset. And you can also see that Trump's second term numbers are diverging quite handsomely from this dark blue line, which is Biden. At this point last year, everybody in stadiums around the country were chanting FJB. And what you can also see is that this second term Trump number is actually kind of on par with Obama's first term. But you can really see it in the 10 period moving average numbers. Now, this uptick at the end, it might flatten out because as we get towards the last data points, there's fewer and fewer days being averaged into here. But if Trump sticks here, this is a big deal because remember, the entire country thought that Barack Obama was going to ride in on a white horse and just fundamentally transform the country, fix all of our problems, wave a magic wand, and make all of our issues go away. So we'll be watching this.
Yeah, you said so the questions matter just as much. Hell yeah. That's why we like going over Mark's data sets. We've been doing by the numbers for, I don't know, about a month and a half, maybe 2 months. And what we like about Mark is, Mark will give you, so he'll be like, okay, the poll says this, 50% of Americans say this about this, another 49%. And if you take the poll, those poll results at face value, you could end up thinking one way or another. But what Mark does is he'll compare his polling samples against the other leading, most respected polls in the U.S. and then tell you why those polls are trash. But what he'll also do is he'll go into the crosstabs of the polls and then explain to you, okay, well, the number is this if we just give you the poll results. But when you dig down into the questions they've been asked, the way the question is framed or the context of the that sometimes that can like basically be like a false positive. They can basically artificially generate the result of the poll that they want by the way they ask the question, or that they don't ask a follow-up question or something else like that. That's why we do the by the numbers here with the election forecasting, and in particular with the polling. Rasmussen's some of the basically one of the best pollsters in the Rasmussen reports in the U.S. They typically get it right. And because Mark's the head pollster over there, and he actually walks you through he breaks out all the questions from the polls and how it shows you how they got to the numbers. I think it just helps for the brothers when they are listening to mainstream news and people are like, oh, according to this polling data, this says, you're automatically poised to ask questions about the poll in your head now, because by watching these by the number segments, we get an understanding of like, well, I'm going to have to see what the crosstabs in that poll are and how they ask the question. You know what I'm saying? It makes you more of a critical thinker, or what have you, and you don't fall for that the ploy of so-called authority, as it were.
But as of today, it is very correct to say that in a pretty not noisy 10-period moving average, Donald Trump's job performance is higher than any of the 4 previous presidencies at this point in his term.
Yeah, you see what he's doing. You see what I was saying there? He's doing as much as real-time data with various pollings, with how the public is responding to the Trump presidency this time go around, and then basically he's cross-referencing and those other lines you see on the graph are the other presidential terms or administrations, and he puts them on the graph so that you can get a firmer understanding about how well Trump is actually performing in real life compared to the previous administrations, in spite of what the mainstream media narrative is. So like I said, like if we weren't going through this polling data and stuff like on a weekly basis, and we're just taking in mainstream media news, you think Trump was the worst president like in U.S. history, and that he had no support of the general public. Do you understand what I mean? Although he won with the mandate from the popular and electoral college, he won the popular vote and the electoral college. So that's why we do these by the number segments. And shout out to 𝐷𝐒 and International Quiet Storm. They this ended up being their idea to make this a segment. Yeah, the banana and the tailpipers. Exactly. No pun intended. Exactly. Spot on.
Look at the shape of that chart. Wow. Now, we're going to look at Real Clear Politics. We haven't been here in a while. Obviously, they don't give Trump as much credit as we do for right direction, wrong track. It's almost like he has a sandbag here. It's a pretty big sandbag. Because remember, these black and red lines touched for the very first time ever in our numbers. And of course, the industry, the average of the industry pollsters, which includes many bad pollsters, had their chart touching back in 2009. And, that was probably some aspect of relief because pressures from the financial crisis were easing. I don't know. But what you can see is that this is starting to really kind of blow out. There haven't been a lot of post-assassination polls yet. The only real one is the economist YouGov. They dropped to -30. Their prior poll was a -20, I believe, right here, -20. So they're showing the same thing I am, which is the country is saying, whoa, wait a minute, something's happening. We're moving in the wrong direction. I expect other pollsters to follow. This should blow wide open, is my guess. But I'm not sure what's going to happen here. The latest Trump approval number is ours, the +4. Economist YouGov with a -12, and that was sampled after the assassination, but it doesn't represent a move, nor does the Morning Consult. And believe it or not, the Morning Consult numbers weren't too far to the left of us. So we'll have to.
All right, and this is what I'm talking about, Irv. So he'll do his polling findings, and then this is what he's doing. He'll take his polling findings and he'll compare it with the top polls going on. The most recent top polls in the United States, and he'll whatchamacallit, he'll compare it to be like how far off the mark they are from where he is, but then he'll explain like, oh well, this is a trash poll, and I looked at their polling crosstab questions, and it's a leading poll. Like, yeah, so he compares his numbers with like the best in the country, and then he'll tell you like why their polling sucks. So usually Washington Post polls suck, a bunch of them, and those are the ones that they always quote, or CNN and MSNBC.
But what I expect to see is probably, some moderate closing in this number. And hey, maybe it'll just be me closing the average. I don't know. But other important stuff is happening. I wanted to bring this to your attention. This is out of the office of James Comer, a really good Republican representative. I've met him personally. This came out yesterday in the afternoon, September 17th. It was an invite to the CEO of Reddit, Steve Huffman. Your presence is requested, your testimony for a hearing Wednesday, October 8th at 10 a.m. at the U.S. Capitol Visitor Center. Come appear before Congress to get raked over the coals over why Reddit has a radical left-wing Antifa, Trantifa, degenerate monoculture. Why is it poisoning the minds of our children? He didn't write that in there, but this is a big deal because Reddit is the 5th biggest website in the United States. And listen, I know that some of these kids are getting radicalized because they have bad family lives, because they have woke teachers, because they're watching woke shows or browsing woke TikTok. But a really big reason is because they're getting sucked into this Reddit Discord community where they feel like they fit in, because quite frankly, everything else is clown world. And if you want to know more, you can go here and see it on Rumble. Yesterday, I was on Steve Bannon's War Room for almost the whole 2 hours. They just kept letting me talk. But I ranted for about 20 minutes on how bad of a cesspool Reddit is. And I hope the reason that Steve Huffman now gets to appear before Congress is because James Comer was watching me on War Room. You have to admit that the timing is pretty interesting. But if you go to Reddit right now, you'll see all kinds of stuff. All of the old anonymous weirdos grooming teenagers to be trans. All of the people passing out onion links to the dark web so people can join Antifa terrorist cells. It's all there. It's all there. All of the big business, the advertisers, the 10-cent backers, the people exerting influence over Reddit. They wanted the pro-Trump communities crushed, but they didn't give a crap about this global homo degenerate, neo-Marxist, radical filth. The message.
Wow, that's a new one. Global homo degenerate filth. Once again, as I said on Monday, as I said on Tuesday, did y'all hear anything in there about black men except for like the weird tether dude that they had be the face of this socialist trans Antifa gun club? It's always one. Yeah, this is not our fight. All right, we're at the 1 hour 46 minute mark. Gentlemen, that is my time for the evening. Now, thanks for coming out supporting the stream. Shout out to everybody that super chatted and supported the stream, man. Man, we really appreciate you, man. Bang, there you go. Thanks for the super chats. Yo, Rich Turner, man, it was good to see you up in here, man. You got to stop by a Sunday panel, man. I don't think we've seen you since the election. Oh, yeah, definitely dropped by a panel. We're trying to get Hoop to come back and do sports, too. Then the only person we'd be missing is Hot Sauce. That's the official Voltron. Irvin said, this is why the streamer followers are a deep base per streamer. Heck, I've been following RDC since he started. And now you see why I cover some Osmond Gold when he talks politics type stuff. It's a non-scientific form of sentiment analysis, and trying to see which way the wind is blowing with these Z's and some of the alphas, because Osmond's got a huge following, probably about 20 million across all platforms, give or take. So yeah, for anybody who was wondering why sometime I review Osmond Gold going over political, aside from that, he's funny as shit too. He's funny and sarcastic. All right, guys, that is my time, man. We'll be back tomorrow. And as always, Sunday panel, we had a team together. As always, man, thanks for dropping by. And I want to, oh wait, this one's for Quiet Storm. I forgot to give you the Keisha boot camp drop.
Hold up, Keisha, I'll call you back. What the fuck you want?
Hi, ma'am, you've been drafted.
Yeah, fucking right, bitch. I ain't ever opening the damn door for no white person ever again. Fuck that dude, Brad or Billy or dipshit, whatever the fuck. Can't believe they got my pretty ass out here going to boot camp. They done got me all the way fucked up.
Michael Hunt, Chase Shanika Manning?
It's Shaniqua, bitch. I know damn well that you know who the fuck I am.
Excuse me, you need to calm the fuck down, Sharkeisha. This isn't your hood-ass ratchet nail salon. You ain't with your fucking Cheeto finger-licking bitches here, okay?
Damn, girl, this actually feels kind of good.
Niggas gay, niggas gay, niggas gay, niggas gay, niggas gay.
Hey, Shaniqua! I know we got off on the wrong foot, so we got you this new Nissan Altima to crash into the enemy with.
Brad ain't no fucking way. That's all mine? Fuck these motherfuckers. I'm getting the hell out of here. I need me some fried chicken, a new weave, and some nails. I ain't got no time to be saving the world and shit.
I want you to give me a snake cup.
I'll give you a snake cup,
Please?
young lady, yeah.
Oh, dirty man. Dirty Craig, dirty Craig.
I am not dirty. I said I'd give you a snake cup and you will receive one and you will enjoy it.
Bet I will. I want you to give me a
We're out of time. What do you fancy? Awkward pause, mouth organ? You could play the trombone. You could...
I'd like to play a musical instrument.
Well, how about the mouth organ?
Okay, sounds
It's pretty simple. Just open the box and blow. Yep, that's great. Best I ever heard.
Sorry. Hey, where's Stewie? That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter.
There it is. We are going to do Sting, yeah.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean, to play us out? To end the show?
Yeah.
All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today, and we'll leave you with a... I can't do it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it, and we'll do it live! Fucking thing sucks!
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Stewie Griffin. Thanks for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.